Welcome to today's session. We're going to be working on our glutes, shoulders, and chest. You're going to need a few things today. One heavier weight for our glutes for some lunging. So you're just going to be holding one weight. You could do two of the lighter weights also at the same time. So you're also going to need two medium weights for shoulders and chest. We're going to be doing chest flies, so it's less weight than the chest press weight. And for shoulders, you can start with a heavy weight, which I'm going to do with a one heavy weight, and then I'm going to drop down to my lighter weight. So I'm using two 8-pound weights and a 15. As I've said in the past, if you don't have like 8-pound weights, it's kind of like an in-between size, you can take your 5s and use wrist weights or ankle weights to kind of get you up to those in-between sizes. And then you're going to need a chair or the wall to help with some stability. So we can get started. We're going to start on our hands and knees. So you don't need anything for our warm-up. Oh, and you can turn on your music. So hands a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, knees beneath our hips. And we're just going to start with some cat-cows. So doing our typical inhale and then exhale, whichever way you like to do that for your cat-cow. So just as always, connecting with our breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're just going to do about one more here. So now you're going to take your right hand and put your weight in your right hand. We're going to open up our left. So we're getting this kind of chest opener stretch here, twisting the torso. And then you can reach under and turn the other way, and then opening chest up. So kind of like the move we did in our mobility session. And the lower you take it down, you can kind of rest. Get a shoulder stretch if you want. We're just going to do about two more. Always breathing. And last one on this side. Take a second to reset, transfer the weight now to your left hand, and then same idea on the other side. You can thread the needle, as I said. You can come down a little bit more. And following with your gaze, looking at your hand, getting in a little bit more of that cervical rotation. For two more here. And then we'll just sit back into a little light child's pose, giving our wrists a roll. You can sway side to side. You know, I never like to just jump right into using the weights, give our muscles a little wake up. So we're just going to do a little flow here back and forth. So I like to have, for my child's pose, my knees kind of turned outward. So we're going to come into this tabletop position and then flow back. And then you can come up. If you want it safe for you, you can kind of drop your hips down, opening up your chest, and then flowing back. Do whatever feels good for you in this warm-up and is safe. If you want your knees kind of more parallel, you can do that as well. And we're just going to do two more. And last one here. And then just relax for a second. We're going to do like a little hamstring stretch, which is going to be like a plank kind of downward dog flow. So give your wrists and shoulders a little break before we get into our high plank. If this isn't good for you, like on your wrists, you can always do this in forearms, or you can do, or I'll show you in a second. So for everybody else, we're going to start for our hamstring stretch. We're going to get into our high plank here, and then pressing back. You can have your heels lifted. Think of reaching your sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then pedaling, lifting one heel higher, lowering the other. Doing a little stretch here in the backs of the legs. As I said, if you don't want to be on your wrists, you can stand up and you can just do some heel kicks here to warm up the hamstrings. All right, so we're pedaling through the legs for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to flow back to our plank here, hold for a second, and then press back into our down dog. Reach that tailbone or hip and sit bones up to the sky, and then flowing back. We're just going to do this 3 more times. Just a little warm up, get some heat in the body. So just flowing, breathing in once and out once, and then flowing back to your plank, breathing in once here and out once, and then flowing back to our downward dog, in and out, flowing back in one more time here and out, and then last time in downward dog, in and out, and then our back to our plank. You can drop your knees down, give your wrists a little break. Okay, so we are going to have our heavy weight nearby, but we're going to start with no weight for our glutes. This is where you either need a wall beside you or the chair, because we want to ensure that we are stable and we aren't like compromising and loading and loading it in the wrong way and like creating bad patterns for our body. So I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to do kind of single leg. You can call it airplane or arabesque. There's a bunch of different, or straight leg deadlift. There's a bunch of names for some reason. So have your chair or wall beside you. And we're going to transfer our weight to one foot. I'm starting with my left. You're going to hinge at the hips here, and you're going to try to keep your hips square and your shoulders square and hips level as you go back or go down, sorry. And then your back is flat, neck is nice and long. And then we're going to stand up, and you can bring knee up to tabletop. So our stabilizing leg, the leg that's working, is staying relatively straight. We're not locking the knee though. And then coming up. Obviously, the goal would be eventually to do this perfectly with no need for stability. But like I said, I see people a lot doing this, and you start leaning to one side, opening up your other hip. So using your breath here as usual. I like to inhale back, exhale, standing back upright. And it's just a light grip on the chair or the wall. I mean, don't have like a death grip, which is again something I always have to remind clients of. I see them like white knuckling. Balance is super important, and my balance sucks. I've been very humbled when I've been doing yoga lately. For 2 more on this side. And 1. And then now we're gonna stay, you're kind of a little bit hinged forward with that flat back, neck is nice and long, and we're just gonna do straight leg kicks here. So you're squeezing now my right glute, my opposite side, but my left leg is working to stabilize. Breathing through it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll do the other side. So either switch around on your wall or move your chair. And I guess you don't really have to, it doesn't really matter which hand is holding on. So now I'm going to do my right leg. So same idea, is keeping that right leg relatively still, just not locking the knee, squaring hips, squaring shoulders, and then coming up. And you're gonna find one side is way better at this, and one side is not as good, we'll say. For me, it's this side. This side sucks for me. I find it so hard to try to keep my hips square and level. So we're pressing through our full foot on the ground, our heel over to our big toe, all the way over to our little toe. And today you might not, like if your balance is not great, maybe you haven't done this move before, you might not be getting that high up. You might just be going like this high, and then maybe you're not even lifting your knee up. Maybe you're just tapping down each time. And you're just working on this hinging movement with keeping our hips square and our shoulders square and our hips level. So you can tap down. I should have said that on the other side. This was actually a move, I've been teaching this for a while, but it's actually a move that my physiotherapist recommended to me for 3 more here to help heal my pelvic floor and my core, which is interesting. And then we just have one more on this side. And then we're going to come back into that slight hip hinge. Leg is out straight, and we're doing our little kickback, squeezing our glute to turn it on. Get ready for some lunges for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, I'll put my chair on this side. I'm going to go back now to my left leg, doing the work. So I'm going to grab my weight, my heavier weight. I'm doing 15 pounds today. As I said, you could just use like the 2 smaller weights too. Using the 1 weight on one side is just going to kind of like load this glute a little bit more. So rather than like separating it and having more inner thigh. Okay, so I'm going to plant my left foot forward. I'm going to have my chair beside me for my right hand to stabilize me. I'm going to step back, and I'm taking about a hip distance apart. So I'm not like on a tightrope or a balance beam. Transferring the majority of my weight to my front foot, my working leg. So that's my left leg. So it has about 80% of the weight. My back leg just working as a kickstand so that I don't fall down. And we're going to stand up nice and tall, and then you're going to lunge down. Your knee doesn't have to tap all the way to the ground. You're just going to lunge down and then standing up. So you want to make sure you have a good distance here. Your back leg is back pretty far because that helps to use our glute and hamstring. So again, pressing through our full foot. And you want to think like you're driving your heel through the floor to really activate those muscles. If you don't need a chair and you can do this without wobbling all over the place, you can let go. And with our arm that's holding the weight, or both arms if you're doing that, your back muscles are a little bit engaged here to hold on. You're not just letting your arm slink down, you're not letting your arm fall forward. We've got 4. Oh, don't look all around like me because then you do lose your balance. For 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come down low and we're going to go up and down an inch. Pressing through that foot, through the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Standing up, and we're going to switch to the other side. So you can just move your chair or move along the wall if you're using it. It's always good to have nearby as well, even if you're not using it the whole time. So again, big step back, hip distance apart. Get right in your setup before you start just lunging away. And when you're ready, bending at the knees and standing up. Lunging is something I see done not great a lot of the time because people don't take the time to set up, and maybe their feet are too close together. And you want to make sure your body is just going like up and down. Like my head is just going in a vertical line. If you were to like draw my head, it's going up and down. I'm not leaning forwards, I'm not leaning backwards. Again, check in that your arm is engaged, holding the weight. I've got 5 on this side. For 4, 3, 2, 1 more, then we have those pulses. Okay, try not to take a break, stay low. You can do it. We're moving on to our chest next. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, standing up. So put the weight down carefully nearby for our shoulders in a moment. Get your chair or balancing thing out of the way. And we are going to do chest flies today. I'm going to actually move a little bit so that I don't hit the reformer. Okay, so for this one, as I said, I'm using 2 8-pound weights. So that's less weight than what I do for my presses, because the flies, like you're opening and it's just harder. So less weight. Coming down onto your mat. And again, always take your time coming down when you're holding weights. Okay, and you want to make sure you have enough distance around you that you're not going to hit anything. So that's why I moved. Might have to move even more. Okay, so we start with our wrists over our chest area, kind of like our nipple line area. Our palms are facing each other. We're in our neutral position on our spine. And we're going to open and close. So if you find this really easy, the straighter your arms are, the harder it is. If you find this really hard, like too heavy, you can do like an A press instead. So that's where your arms are still coming up to the sides, but you're bending more at the elbows and then kind of coming up together. So your arms kind of make this like V or A shape. And I'm trying to not rest at the bottom or at the top. And again, today for this series, this week, we're working in like an 8 to 15 rep range. Kind of on the higher end this week of those reps. Yeah, I could probably do more weight, but We're just going to keep going here. So we're going to do 4 more. And 3. So yeah, if you feel like you could keep going here, might be time to increase your weights. 2. Last 1. And then we are going to come up carefully. Place your weights potentially like nearby because you might want to use them. This next move is for our shoulders, it's a row. So you're going to have your knees stacked here, your forearm down with your elbow beneath your shoulder. Now, I find these Bowflex weights really like bulky and clunky, so it's not that great for this move. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you without the weight, is your palm is facing you, and today we're facing forwards. So in the past, we've been kind of turned downwards. Today we're facing forwards, and you're leading with the elbow. It's like our pulling up the pants move we did the other day, but you're drawing your elbow up and kind of rowing in to your body and then coming down. So leading with that elbow up. Like I said, I find these Bowflexes, I don't get like that full range of motion because like when you lift up and then it's like I'm not coming down that far. So I also think that weight might be too heavy for me today. I'm going to grab my 8 pounds and same thing. So you're just rowing up and down. To keep this as a shoulder exercise, we aren't bringing our shoulder blades together. They're staying still. Our spine is staying neutral. If you don't like this move, you can do just the standing up or kneeling, like pulling up your pants move we did the other day, those cleans. So I know some people don't like to be on their forearm. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2. I don't know what I was thinking. And last 1. There's no way I could have done this with 15. That 8 was good. Okay. Now we're going to put these together. Well, we're going to do a little shoulder chest drop set. So we're going to do push-ups. If you hate doing push-ups, you don't have to do them. You can go back to doing chest flies, or you can hold a plank, because that's like a high plank or a low plank. That's also working. So I'm going to take my hands a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. My knees are hip distance apart. I'm going to do knee push-ups today. By all means, go on your feet if you're able. So we're just going to do 10 here. And when we're pushing up, our core is nice and tight. Our neck is long. And my elbows are going almost like I'm trying to do like a 45-degree angle. So I'm not going, my arms aren't going out to the side. Got 5 more. And 4. 3. 2. Oh my gosh, the last one. That's a good one because it's like a drop set for both chest and shoulders. Okay, we are coming up back for our glutes. I'm gonna straighten my mat again. Okay, so again, grab your chair or go to your wall. We're starting again with that single leg arabesque move. Actually, I'm gonna move my chair to this side so that my knee doesn't hit it. So I'm gonna start with my left leg again, planting my left foot down. And I always like to have my hand, on my hips just to remind me to keep them square and shoulders square. So left leg stays relatively straight, but soft knee. And then coming up with your right knee. And as we get more tired, this does get harder to keep our hips square, shoulders square. My baby's waking up from his nap, so hopefully he goes back to sleep because it's only been like 15 minutes. Well, actually, I guess it's been a little bit longer. And I don't have to pause this video. We've got 3 more on this side. It's always hard to stop a workout and then come back to it later, you know? And last one. Ooh, that one I started to kind of turn my hip out. And then now we are going to, actually we'll just go right to the other side. So same idea, right foot is staying on the mat and you're hip hinging at the hips, hip hinging, you could say. And then standing up. Using your breath, trying to keep that flat back and not locking your stabilizing knee, which is very hard for me because my knees hyperextend, so I always want to lock them. For 4 here. And 3. 2. And 1. So this one, I'm just not going to use a chair just because it's a little cumbersome here with my chair and all this stuff around me. But I would recommend, and I've been doing these for a long time, so I am okay with them. But if you are newer to lunging or curtsy lunging, definitely have a wall beside you or a chair. So we're going to do some curtsy lunges. Again, I'm going to start with my left leg, so I'm going to hold my weight in my left hand. My left foot is going to be basically like the center of my mat. My right leg is going to step back behind my left leg. So it's going towards the left side of my mat. All 10 toes are pointed forwards. Again, I have a good distance. My back leg's back pretty far, you can see. My arms engaged. And we're going to bend our knees, lunging, and then standing up. So if this is too much for you, some people I know it doesn't feel great for them, just go back to regular lunging like we did last round, or last set. I don't think my son's going back to sleep. I think he's awake. And we've got 4 more here because we're going to do a little burnout. And 3. Pressing through that full front foot. 2. And 1. We're going to carefully drop your weight. You're going to stay low the whole time, and we're going to do step backs and then step forwards. So, I need to catch my breath. Stay down, stay low as you can. That left leg's going to stay where it is. Your right leg is going to step back. This is again where if you want to hold on to something. You're going to do 1 curtsy lunge, come part way up, tap that right foot forward, come back into your curtsy, lunge down, come part way up and forward. So staying as low as you can, loading that muscle. We've got 4. Oops. 3. Take your time too, don't rush it. 2. I know you want to rush it. And then last one here. And then coming up, shake it out. I'm back, dealt with the baby. Where were we? Okay, so now we are doing our weighted curtsy lunges. On the other side, get my brain back into it. So my right leg is forward. My left leg, I'm just moving a little bit out of the way because of the reformer. My left leg is back behind me and kind of to the right, all 10 toes pointed forwards, and then coming down and standing up. So before you do any with the weight, just make sure you're in good form. And then find something on the floor to stare at if you're not holding on. Even if you are holding on, find something to stare at. Pressing through that front foot to really turn on the glute. We've got 5 and 4, 3, and then we're going to do those step back lunges for 2 and 1, and then placing that weight down. Oh, I didn't restart my timer. I really just use this to time to see how long this video is going for. Okay, so planting right foot down, left leg steps back behind me, curtsy, stay low, so stay but part way up, tapping left foot forward, curtsying back, taking my time here. It's not a race. Yeah, I don't actually really use the watch to like record workouts or things because it's not really that accurate. It's mostly for me to keep an eye on to be like, how long have I been going at this video? We've got 4. Oh my God, why did I say 4? Well, I think we had 4. 3. 2, try to stay low, try not to come up. Last one. Oh, okay, shake it out. So we're coming back down for our flies. Again, I'm going to move the mat a little bit. Or actually, well, yeah, I'll move it. Okay. Take your time coming down. Arms come up, palms face each other. Hands are kind of over nipple line. And then we're opening and coming up. As I said before, you need to bend your elbows more. If your weight's really heavy, you can do that. Conversely, if you find this super easy, straighter arms without locking the elbows would be an option. Got 4 more here for 4, 3, 2, last one here, and then carefully coming up for, oh my God, I just realized well, now we're going to do the other side. I only did the deltoid row on one side, didn't I? So we'll do the other side. When my kid's crying, I'm like trying to listen and okay. So we'll do our row on this side now. So coming into our stacked knee position, forearm under or elbow under shoulder, palm facing your body, and then you're lifting up with that elbow and then coming back down and trying not to rest at the top or the bottom. And you're trying to not bring your like shoulder blades together and pinch them together because we're trying to keep it here on this part of our shoulder today. So as I said earlier, if you don't like this for any reason, you can kneel or stand up and do That kind of like pulling up the pants move of cleans. For 4, 3, 2, and last 1. And then lowering that down. We're going to do a plank dog flow, right, or downward dog flow, kind of like our beginning. So just for our shoulders, and again, it's working our chest as well when we're in our plank position. So hands not as wide as our push-ups, just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. You have your knees beneath your hips to help you, and then tucking your toes, coming up to your high plank. So we're in our plank position here, and then we're just going to press back to our downward dog position. So heels are lifted, our sit bones and tailbone reaching towards the ceiling, and then just flowing back to our plank. Take an inhale and an exhale, pressing to our down dog for an inhale and exhale, and to our plank, inhale and exhale. So just keep flowing like this. If this is too much on your wrists, drop to your forearms. You can do that as well. If you would rather do push-ups, by all means, do that. I don't want you to ever do anything you really hate. So if you hate this, or you can do chest flies again, or you can do the shoulder rows. We're just going to do 1 more each way. Because I'd heard somewhere, and then last one, and then just relax. I'd heard somewhere like they've actually shown like if you are doing exercises you hate, you don't get the same effects. So if you despise something or it's not great for your anatomy, don't do it. Do something else, please. Okay, and checking my notes. Oh yeah. Okay, so now grabbing our heavy weight again, and we are going to do the heavy step backs now. So like we did those step backs with the curtsies, we're just doing regular lunges, but we're holding our weight. So again, if you need something to stabilize you, grab that. I'm going to start with my left leg again. So I'm going to try to stay low, about halfway down. Step back to my lunge, so hip distance apart. Big step back. I'm going to lunge down, come up halfway, tap my right foot forward beside my left foot. Right foot goes back, hip distance apart, lunge down, come up part way, tap forwards. So staying down, keeping that muscle loaded. And we're not here for many because this is hard and heavy and burning. We're just going to do 4 more. Try to stay down. Try not to take a break and give your muscle that break. For 3 and 2. And take your time here. Don't just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and compromise. Okay, now we are dropping our weight and we're going to stay down again. We're going to go a little bit faster. If you need to hold on to something with this one, you can. We're going to do, stay down. You're going to do 1 regular lunge, come up part way, tap forward, do 1 curtsy lunge, come up part way, tap forward, regular lunge down, halfway up, tap, curtsy, down, halfway up, tap. So we're just alternating here, maybe going a little bit faster, maybe getting a little bit lower because we don't have that weight. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can do 1 more here by staying down. If you have to come up, then you can be done. Oh, shaky, shaky. Okay, catch your breath. We're going to do it on the other side. So you're going to grab your heavy weight for our step back lunges. So heavy weight in your right hand now. Plant that right foot forward, sit down halfway, step back, and down, come up part way, tap forward. So these are just our regular lunges, back and forward. We're staying low. Check in that your shoulder hasn't started to roll forwards. We've got 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Okay, coming up, dropping that weight. We are done with it. Get it out of the way for our alternating lunges. So we're going to come low, regular lunge, step back, come up part way, tap, curtsy, down, part way up, tap. Use your breath. Use your balance apparatus to maintain good form. This side's so much harder. Okay, we've got 1 more on each side. If you need to stand up and take a break, then you can be done this set. This was it anyways for our legs. Okay, shaking it out. Okay, we have just our final burnout here. You can stand, sit, kneel for these, grabbing your 2 weights for your like chest or your shoulders. We're gonna do L raises. So this is where I need to catch my breath. Palms face each other. My elbows are bent at about 90 degrees. I'm gonna try to keep them bent at 90 degrees. And we're gonna lift up to shoulder height. So everything's kind of in line here, my forearm and my shoulder at shoulder height, and then carefully lowering down with control. So coming up and lowering. Trying not to pause. And checking in with our spine, as I've said in the past, trying to keep that neutral spine. So if you find you're tucking your butt under or maybe starting to arch out, you can do a split stance. My son is not having it. Justin's with him right now and I can hear it. Oh my God. All right, we've just got 3. Maybe he wants his mommy. 2. And last 1. Okay. And then our final move is some push-ups to finish. Again, if you hate this, go back to your flies or a chest press, but this is it. I'm going to try to do 10. So as many as we can, up to 10 in good form. Again, knees or feet, whatever you need. And we're going to start here. Oh, I should mention too, if this is too hard on your hands, you can always take your weights and you kind of put them a little bit at an angle here, a little bit wider than your mat. And some people like to do push-ups like this. I personally don't, but that's an option. Okay, I'm only at 4. If you have got to your 10, you're done. 5, unless you can keep going. If you can keep going with good form, this is your burnout. If you can't make it to 10, then that's fine, you're done. It's hard for me to count and do. I think I have 2 more. Or 2. Oh my gosh. Last 1. Oh, okay. We're on our stretch. Okay. Little glute stretch here. I'm going to sit with my legs in front of me. If you need something under your knees, you can do that. I'm going to cross 1 foot over, kind of by my knee here, and then kind of holding my knee, bring my opposite hand behind, and then kind of gently pulling here. So for me, my right glute is getting a little stretch. You can look back and forth, or you can just stay in one direction. If you don't like this stretch, You can just do like the figure 4 stretch either on your back or in this position or in a chair. All right, just 2 more seconds. And then we'll switch to the other side. Again, you can get in a little spinal twist, a little cervical twist here. And the more you do this and you get to know the different exercises, I'll always try to give options, but yeah, like if you hate push-ups and it's bad, or it's bad for your wrists or knees or something, I don't want you just to do like either nothing, or I don't want you to force yourself to do something you don't like. So you can always kind of go through exercises we've done in the past for chest and put that in instead. We're gonna do a little chest opener here. So hands at the base of the skull, and you're just gonna slightly lean back, opening up the chest. Elbows are towards the ceiling. And then you can flare your elbows open if you want, and close, open, and close. Just 2 more. If you need more stretching, and let's do a little shoulder one here. The chest opener, like those arm circles we did in the mobility one on the mat, you can do that for your chest. You can do that standing at a wall, you know, where you put your arm on the wall. Good. And if you ever feel like you haven't done enough, maybe you don't think about it, think back to how tired you were at the end. You know, when we were staying down low for those glutes, your glutes were burning. Like, you've done enough, you did a great job today. I know these are only sometimes 30, 40 minutes. You think maybe I didn't get enough in, but just remember like how hard your muscles worked and how hard you worked, and be proud of that. And yeah, that's my little pep talk of the day. And I'll see you back here tomorrow for our last session of the week.